A very good evening, I'm Asad Ahmed. A gang of vandals have caused thousands of pounds worth of damage at a tube station while it was closed down over Christmas. The group is thought to have entered Camden Town Station along the track before covering the platforms with graffiti. Paul Curran joins us now from Camden. Paul, how extensive is the graffiti?
It's very extensive. The graffiti artists have attacked all of the platforms. Platform 4 is the worst affected. There, some of the walls are nearly completely covered. Also, they painted over dot matrix signs and CCTV cameras. It's assumed they were down there for several hours on Christmas Day. Now, that's when the station was closed. So one theory going around is that they walked in, possibly from another station further up the Northern Line, like Finchley Road or Golders Green. London Underground are saying that the damage is going to take several weeks to put right, because they can only repair during the night time when the station isn't in use, and it's going to cost tens of thousands of pounds.
And Paul, this is just the kind of attack that the British Transport Police wanted to prevent.
That's right. Just before Christmas there was a preemptive strike by the British Transport Police in which they arrested 25 suspected graffiti artists from around the country. There were at least 4 of them in London. The message they were trying to get across was that this sort of attack wouldn't be tolerated. Perhaps, though, it was something that this gang decided it was too much of a challenge for them to resist.
OK, Paul, thanks very much for that update. Now, a security review has been launched after 2 psychiatric patients escaped from a secure mental health unit in South London. The men, one believed to be a convicted rapist, left the Shaftesbury Clinic at Springfield Hospital in Tooting and boarded a train to Edinburgh. The 2 were arrested in the Scottish capital after being on the run for about 6 hours. A special school set up by a mother whose autistic son had nowhere to go has received glowing praise from an Ofsted report. Laura Dyer from Codicut in Hertfordshire raised the money to set up the Chrysalis School. Sarah Harris has the details.
On his way to school with Mum, it's a scene familiar to most parents, but for William, a particular achievement. He's profoundly autistic and until last year was taught at home with no specialist school in his part of Hertfordshire. But Mum Laura decided to raise the funds to start one herself, and it's now received its first glowing Ofsted report.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But then the tutors and the head have worked so hard to get that kind of standard. And I knew it could happen. And I'm just so proud of all of them for doing what they've done.
The children are given one-to-one support in small classes using a teaching method known as ABA.
Sam? Hi, Sue. Hi, Sam. Lovely saying hi, Sue.
The school's head has 15 years of experience working in mainstream schools and says there are valuable lessons for all teachers to learn from the methods used here with autistic children.
In America at the moment it's being used in mainstream schools. And I certainly think it's very important that this methodology is understood.
It's a struggle to raise the funds, but most children's places are now financed by local education authorities. William's mum's dream is to move to a bigger building and make this kind of education available for more autistic children, to give them a chance to reach their potential like any other child. Sarah Harris, BBC London News.
Now, an American high school group previously banned from coming to London for fear of it being too dangerous will now lead the capital's New Year's Day parade. Education bosses in Florida told the Fort Myers High School marching band the terrorist threat was just too high here, but parents overruled that decision. The troupe will be joined by other performers from around the world for the parade, which is now in its 21st year. Now, if you've got a new mobile phone for Christmas, why not give the old one to charity? The London-based charity Farm Africa is recycling them and giving them to some of the world's poorest farmers. Mike Ramsden's followed a phone all the way to Kenya to see how it's being used to save lives.
When Mary has a sick goat, she needs a vet quickly. But the only way to get help used to be on foot, a round trip of 20 miles.
I would walk for very long distances seeking for animal health care, and sometimes I would go back and meet that my goat is very seriously sick or sometimes even dead. So since I got a friend who has a mobile phone, life has really changed.
5 minutes walk away is a neighbour with a mobile phone. Mary borrows it and calls for help.
Hello?
Hello? I'm coming right now.
MacDonald has been trained by the charity Farm Africa to be the village's animal health worker. giving a local and rapid response to farmers with sick animals. His backpack has drugs to treat the most common animal ailments. If it's more serious, a fully trained vet is a phone call away. But he's a lifesaver for people as well.
The members of the community, they can call me whether there is any emergency. Someone is sick and he wants to call a vehicle. He comes to me, he tells me to ring, then I call a vehicle and we save the life of the one who is sick.
The rains have been in this part of eastern Kenya for the last 3 weeks, and as you can see, everything's looking green. But for 9 months of the year, this place is bone dry. Crops regularly fail, and at times like that, animals act like an insurance policy for farmers. So getting the best price for animals you've reared is vital. Soon these people will be learning how a couple of calls from a mobile will help them to play the markets.
Within the next 6 months, with these mobile phones, they'll be able to conduct Mombasa, they'll be able to conduct Nairobi, they'll be able to conduct Kisumu and Meru, and based on that, they will be just taking their animals in the market, which is offering the best prices.
75, now 73.
The spread of mobile phones and masts in this part of Kenya is rapid. Handsets are still relatively expensive, but a few borrowed seconds can have a huge impact. Mike Ramsden, BBC London News in Kenya.
Well, a look at the weather forecast now, and tonight will be dry but cloudy. The temperature will drop to freezing. Tomorrow will be unsettled with rain spreading east. Some of it will be heavy with some strong winds too. The top temperature will reach a high of 10 degrees Celsius. That's it. I'll be back at 10:45 with our next news here on BBC One. Until then, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.